Hi, folks. This is Mark by Mark A. Foster, Ph.D., for the Institute for Dialectical Meta-Realism. I mentioned in my last episode that I am a poet, and I read you a poem and commented on it. Now I will read you a second poem and comment on that too. Once again, on go the spectacles, and up come the browser, and here it is. The title of this poem is The Serpentine Beast. Sadly, I do not have a date for this. I don't know why I wasn't dating them, but in many cases I did not. So this one is not dated. So it could have been 20 years ago, 25 years ago. That would be my guess. Here it goes. Behold the warrior king, Andro, Jin, E, not me, waging the inner battle over a forgotten wing. Learn this, O defeated soldier. The word is the mother. The beauty is the father. The soul grew in Eden through the power of the other. Free thyself from the serpentine beast. The war has been won by armies long deceased. Okay, that's the poem. Maybe confusing. It wasn't confusing to me because I wrote it, but I will explain it to you the best I can. Starting out with Behold the Warrior King. In a way, that's sarcasm, because I'm basically saying that this person claims to be a warrior king, but the person is not really a warrior king. The person is a poser, pretending to be a warrior king, but not really having the credentials to be one. What those credentials are, I have no idea, but nonetheless, the person is a poser. Next line, Andro, question mark, Jin, question mark, E, exclamation point, not me. That means androgyny, not me. What I'm referring to there is the concept of psychological androgyny. That term is not used that commonly anymore. It was more commonly used back in the 1970s and 1980s when people were first beginning to question the conventional binary nature of gender and searching for a non-binary alternative. And so the term psychological androgyny was invented. There was a film, and it was literally a film. This was pre-videotape days that I used to show to my students. And in the video, they show a school in Northern California. And I guess Northern California is where you might expect this kind of a school to be, because it was a kind of experimental school. What they were doing there is they had a policy that they would make absolutely no distinction between girls and boys. So, for example, rather than saying, may I have a healthy or a fit and in shape male to lift something and carry it for me, you would leave out the male part and you would say, may I have a healthy person to lift, carry, etc., this unmentionable thing for me. So the idea basically was, again, to move beyond binaries. The assumption was that there were some people perhaps all people, who were psychologically androgynous, meaning they had both feminine and masculine gender characteristics. Now, since that time, a lot has changed in terms of gender and gender expectations. What has been found is that almost nobody anymore is strictly masculine or feminine. All of us are a mix. All of us are somewhere in between. There are very, very few people who really are true macho men. Think of that song. There are very few women who are extraordinarily passive and servile. Give you an example. This was a servile woman. Back when I was a community college student, freshman, sophomore, not sure, sometime between 1974 and 1976 at Nassau Community College on Long Island, just outside of New York City. We were sitting in the student center. Actually, I believe it was the North Student Center. And I was chatting with a young lady that I was interested in. Sadly, it was not reciprocated, but I was interested in her. And there were these two people, I assume girlfriend and boyfriend, although maybe not. They were playing table tennis, ping pong with each other. That's right, ping pong. And at one point, when the young man hit the ping pong ball, he made a mistake. He hit it haywire. It did a curve. But what did his presumed girlfriend say? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just a girl. The woman that I was sitting next to was a very, very strong feminist, as was I and still am. And she wanted to get up and literally tear that woman apart. I had to calm her down. If I were not there, I don't know what would have happened. I doubt she would have actually attacked her, but maybe. She was certainly inclined to do that. She was not very happy about what that woman said. I am just a girl. Anyway, so that did not go over very well with her. And so eventually we talked about it and she was okay. I pointed out that in my opinion, we are at a transition time between old gender roles and new ones. And we can't really expect everyone to have adopted the new ones yet. And she agreed with me, and that was pretty much the end of it. She never raised the issue again, thankfully, because I had nothing else in my pocket to say. So that's basically what I'm talking about. The conquering of stereotypical gender roles, like macho man, or I'm just a girl. Either one. Both of those, according to advocates of psychological androgyny, need to be eliminated. Okay, so that's the idea of andro, gin, not me, waging the inner battle over a forgotten wing. Here, and you can see how obscure I'm getting, perhaps. I am using the metaphor of a bird. I love birds. I've always loved birds. I talk to them. They come to me and they sit right next to me and stare at me while I'm talking to them. I don't know how common that is. but it happens all the time with me. So I love those birds. I love them. So I was talking about a bird. And by a forgotten wing, I was talking about the feminine wing, namely that the masculine wing was certainly not forgotten, but the feminine wing was all too often forgotten. And so what I'm saying here is, again, a continuation of the concept of psychological androgyny. Andro, Jin, E, not me, that we need to have a balance between the feminine and the masculine aspects of human behavior. Okay. Learn this, O defeated soldier. So remember, I talked about the warrior king. Now, I am saying that that warrior king has been defeated. Namely, he was fighting for a cause that is dead. He has lost, but he does not know he has lost. He is still fighting. He is fighting for nothing because the battle is over, but he is still fighting. That's the point of it. Next, the word is the mother. The beauty is the father. Here, I'm talking about the life-giving word, the fact that when we speak, we bring things into existence, in a sense, metaphorically, not literally, but when we speak about things, when we name them, we are creating them in our conversations. Now, I am not a postmodernist or a post-structuralist, so I do not reduce reality to language. I am simply referring to language and how in language, when we say a word, we are in effect bringing that word into our conversation. The beauty is the father. Contrary to what many people think, that beauty is feminine, what I am saying here is a challenge to that. I am saying here, the beauty is not the mother, not to say that the mother is not beautiful, but the beauty is the father. And so I am challenging the traditional notion of beauty, even with little kids. And I notice that I do that myself when talking to little kids. With girls, when I'm addressing little girls, I will say, hi, beautiful. Hi, beautiful. I never say that to boys. Never. Never. It's not right. I should be ashamed of myself. Well, maybe not quite ashamed of myself, but that's revealing that I am still contending with that issue myself. Okay. Next. The soul grew in Eden through the power of the other. This is even more metaphysical. By the soul, here I am talking about Adam. Adam, the one from the Garden of Eden, with Eve and the serpent and the two trees and all that stuff. So the soul, Adam, grew in Eden through the power of the other, Eve. Eve, the life-giving spirit. Eve, who gave life to Adam. I am suggesting a possible metaphorical understanding of that story. That basically, perhaps, what that story is saying is that you have Adam in the Garden of Eden, the soul, a metaphor for the human soul. and that soul grows through the power of the Spirit, through the life-giving Spirit, the Spirit of life, any way you want to say it. That is how the Spirit, metaphorically, Adam, grows. Next. Free thyself from the serpentine beast. Maybe you might guess I am referring to the serpent, even though serpent is not a very good translation, in the Garden of Eden. If that's what you were guessing, hey, you were right. So I'm saying, free thyself from attachment to the world, because you cannot grow. You cannot grow as a human, no matter how powerful Eve is. She cannot help you out if you are attached to the encumbrances of the world of existence. That is the point of that stanza, if that's what it's called, I guess verse. Finally, the war has been won by armies long deceased. Okay, so this returns back to the warrior king. And I mentioned that before that the battle was already defeated and the soldier was defeated, but the soldier did not know that he was defeated. The warrior king still thought that he was fighting, even though the war was long over. So that's what I'm saying. The war is over. Stop fighting for machismo. Stop fighting for feminine servility, the subordination of women to men. So basically, what this poem is an attempt to approach the concept of gender equality. That gender can be understood on many different levels. But no matter how you understand them, men are not superior to women, and women are not superior to men. And that is, I think, something that we can all learn from, that notion of gender equality. Because without gender equality, we will be caught in the quagmire of the past and of patterns of behavior that have failed time and again. So again, this poem is an argument for gender equality. For the time being, this has been Mark, by Mark A. Foster, Ph.D., for the Institute for Dialectical Meta-Realism. Have a pleasant day and an even better day tomorrow.